let's move on to something that's going on right now as we speak. This is breaking news. I think this is the most breaking news Words From My Face has ever given you, and that is the NFL Draft. Do we have a sound effect for the NFL Draft?
You did tell me to get a sound effect for the NFL Draft.
We'll just make something up real quick.
Yeah.
I'm pinned down!
Okay, that works.
There we go.
So, I'm just going to kind of give you a pick-by-pick, a little synopsis on who picked what. We're only 20 picks in the first round. But first, I want to start with this. NFL, what are you doing? I was mad at you last week for trying to make an event of your stupid releasing the schedule. I'm mad at you this week for making the draft into a 3-day event. 2 days at most. Come on, people. I want to get all of them all right in there. I don't need to have 1 round today, 2 rounds tomorrow, and then 3 rounds on Saturday. It's not needed. You should have scheduled Radio City Music Hall properly so you didn't push it back 2 weeks already. It's just too much. Give me what I want in a more condensed form. You know, I mean, I understand. They want people to talk about it more. They want to generate more buzz. They want to get more revenue. I can't blame them for that. But
yeah, but I don't. Do you think people are going to really hang around as long for day 3? You know,
No.
People will keep watching when it's a little condensed because they saw the bigger stuff earlier on. You know, some people would just want to see it all the way out. But I think a lot of people are really going to say, all right, well, we're on the last leg of stuff, whatever.
Well, to be honest with you, most people, the way they traditionally did it was day 1 was rounds 1 through 3. Day 2 was rounds 4 through 7. Most people didn't watch day 2. I mean, I watched day 2 because I'm a football-holic. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Making it a word now?
So now that there's another additional day with the even lower set of, you switch it off to that, I don't see it helping them. Like, maybe they don't care. Maybe
they still make more money because they make more money off of advertisers, because advertisers will still pay to attach their name to any type of NFL event. Doesn't matter what. I mean, they'll do it. So, you know, but let's get into some of the picks that have been happening. And so your very first pick of the NFL Draft, I actually predicted that the Houston Texans would actually trade down. But they didn't. They stayed with what everybody else has said for the past 2 years, which is really rare. 2 years this guy's been the number 1 pick in the NFL, and that's Jadeveon Clowney. This is the stud from South Carolina. He is a defensive end. I mean, his intangibles are there. He runs like a 4.5 40 for a guy who's 270 pounds. That's amazing. He's got all the athletic ability in the world. Just people would question his work ethic a little bit. But sometimes when you have that much natural talent, you don't need to hit the gym quite as hard. But I think this is a really good situation for him because he's going to go there. He's going to help bolster a Texans defense that 2 years ago was really good. Last year, not so good. But he's got J.J. Watt on the other end. And now J.J. Watt is not only a physical beast, but he's also a workout beast. So I have a feeling J.J. Watt's going to say, come here, young man. Get behind me. I'm going to show you how to be an all-pro in this league. And hopefully Jadeveon Clowney, if he's smart, will follow his lead. And then you're going to have 2 defensive ends on that line that, I mean, quarterbacks beware. I would hate to be in the AFC South as a quarterback next year because those 2 guys are going to be coming at you. You can't do more than a 3 or 4 step drop before you have to get the ball out of your hands. It's just that simple. And those guys.
Any of you quarterbacks in the South there that are afraid and want to, you know, maybe give over something to someone, I'll take it. You know, I'll quarterback.
Yeah, I'll do it too. Yeah. Hey, you got Words For My Face. Hit us up at Words For My Face on Twitter, wordsformyface@gmail.com, Google+. Of course, comment down below and like and subscribe. But
I mean, it can't be worse than dealing with Chewbacca.
Yeah, it's not. But let's move on to our second pick, and that was the St. Louis Rams. I believe I had them trade. No, I didn't have them trading. But they've actually picked the person I said they were going to pick. Hey, sometimes I can be right too. And they picked the tackle Greg Robinson out of Auburn.
Very rare.
Very rare. But you know, I'll take it when I get it. So they took the tackle out of Greg Robinson because I still believe that they really like Sam Bradford. They just need to help him stay up. You know, it's hard for him to throw the ball when he's getting hit every 2 seconds. So I think that's a really good pick for them. Solid pick. Moving on to the number 3 pick was the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this is the very first surprise of the draft so far. Now, they stayed pat. They stayed where they were going to, but I did not expect them to pick the player they were going to. They went ahead and skipped over Johnny Football and picked up Blake Bortles. Now, Blake Bortles is a quarterback, and he's from Central Florida. Yes, I did have to look down to see that he was from Central Florida. He's got a lot of the height. He's 6'5". He's got the body for it. He's about 220 pounds, so he can take a pounding, but he can stand up tall in the pocket, look over all those huge offensive linemen, and find the place downfield where he needs to get the ball to. So it should help him. Now, if you're Blake Bortles, you're probably a little disappointed going to Jacksonville, seeing as they're not very good, and they don't spend any money, and they're not very good, and they don't spend any money.
You know, maybe they're. You never know though. Like maybe he can turn them around.
You never know. That's true. That's true. And then moving on to pick number 4. Now this is where the first trade came in. The Browns actually traded with the Bills, their number 9 pick, to move up to the 4th pick. I believe they also traded a 5th round pick in there as well. And they picked up Sammy Watkins. Now this is the wide receiver out of Clemson. A lot of people say he is the most NFL-ready player in the draft right now. He's about 5'10", but he's a burner. I think he runs around about a 4.3 40, and he has hands. I mean, you can throw whatever you want. You could throw a kitchen sink near him; he'll catch it. He's just a really good, versatile player. Huh?
I think that should be the new routine for all receivers. You know, throw kitchen sinks.
Throw kitchen sinks. Hey, if you can catch a kitchen sink, you can catch a ball. So,
exactly.
So, I mean, this guy, he's probably going to have the biggest impact right away. And now they need a wide receiver because they drafted E.J. Manuel last year, the young quarterback who was supposed to be a project, but they kind of threw him to the wolves last year and made him start. So it'll be good to have a little bit of talent around him so that he can kind of step his game up a little bit. Next pick, we're going to the Raiders, and they actually picked who I thought the Jaguars were going to pick, and that was Khalil Mack. A really good pass rushing, a linebacker. He'll probably play a stand-up linebacker in the NFL. Really good at rushing the passer off the side. And in today's NFL, that's why these pass rushers go so high. You have a Jadeveon Clowney going number 1. I mean, these guys always go so high because, you know what? You don't really need that good of a secondary if the quarterback only has 2 seconds to throw the ball. Because ask anybody you want. I don't know anybody out there. The best cornerback in the league could not guard even the most average wide receiver for 5-6 seconds. It's just impossible. You don't know where they're going to run. There's some way for them to get open within that time because they're that talented. That's why they're in the NFL. If they don't give them that much time, what happens? You don't have to guard for as long. So,
although mixed with that, we've been seeing more and more of the read option being employed by some of the younger. Well, I guess some others too, but some of the quarterbacks. But they give themselves more time with that too. There's like we've seen RG3, we've seen Luck. Like they'll run for a while and keep themselves more time to get the receivers open, or they rush themselves. But if they're going to rush, obviously, or if they're going to do a quarterback sneak, then I guess your best defense is to be going after him anyway. So
yeah, having those guys around there anyway really helps out. But let's kind of run through a couple more. We have the Falcons picking Jake Matthews, offensive tackle. They need a little help on the offensive line, so go pick up there. Buccaneers picking Mike Evans, really big, tall wide receiver. I believe he's about 6'4", 6'5", somewhere in there. Really should help. They think Mike Glennon is really going to turn into a good NFL starting quarterback, so him complementing Vincent Jackson should really help them out. You have the number 8 pick. You have the Browns. This is one they traded down. And they picked up Justin Gilbert, who a lot of people say is the best athlete in the draft right now, which I think really that's Jadeveon Clowney, but I've heard that here and there. But he's a really good cornerback, maybe not the most refined at right now, but you give him a little polish and he'll be one of the better ones. Then you have the Vikings, which was weird. The Browns and Vikings actually flip-flopped the 8 and 9 pick for some reason. I don't know. because and they picked up the outside linebacker Anthony Barr from UCLA, and then at number 10 you have Eric Ebron, the best tight end in the draft, going to the Detroit Lions, which makes sense. You have Calvin Johnson on the outside already. They went out and picked up, who did they pick up? Percy Harvin, I believe. They picked up one of the Seattle wide receivers, and so putting him in there is a good in the middle threat. That makes a lot of sense. Then number 11, you have the Titans picking Taylor Lewin, offensive tackle. So hopefully he'll shore up their line. You have the Giants picking Odell Beckham, the wide receiver, out of LSU. You have the Now this one is actually a pretty cool pick. The Rams had another pick because their second pick, they actually got from the Redskins for the RG3 draft. This is actually where they were going to pick in the draft anyway. They got Aaron Donald, the defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh, and he's going to fit in there really well right next to Chris Long and Robert Quinn, and you're going to have a fearsome line coming at you right there. I feel bad because in their division they have some great quarterbacks. They have Matt Stafford and they have Aaron Rodgers, so they need somebody to get there. And I just said the wrong division. They have Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson. Ha I got it right eventually.
Yeah, you're so good.
And I'm actually just going to skip right now to the number 21 pick, and that was the greatest name in the draft. Greatest name. His name is HaHa Clinton Dix. His first name is HaHa, though.
Is this his real name?
That's his real name, HaHa. That is his real name. That is legit. I'm not making that up. His name is HaHa Clinton Dix, and he's a safety out of Alabama. Really should help the Packers shore up that defense. And one other thing, because we're running out of time, I want to mention is that Johnny Manziel. We're at pick 22. Johnny Football hasn't been taken. I said he was going to get picked really early, but it's pretty surprising. A lot of people were saying at least 3 quarterbacks are going to go in this first round of the draft, and that was Blake Bortles, Johnny Man, and who else? Derek Carr. But it's looking like only one. Maybe Manziel will still get taken because there's still about 10 picks left, but it's not looking good for you, Johnny Football. Maybe a little too much off-the-field antics.
Maybe it's a little too much calling yourself football. That's a little pretentious.
He didn't do that. Somebody else gave him that name, so that's not really
his fault.
I can't blame him for that. He did run with it. But you know what? The NFL draft is finishing. I kind of want to watch the rest of it. And actually, I take it back. Cleveland Browns just drafted with this 22nd pick, Johnny Football. So he's going to be.
There you go.
He's going to be heading to Cleveland.
It's because you let the Browns know that, hey, this guy's still open. They were listening in.
They were. So, but let me know any of the draft day surprises you have, any of the steals, any of the players you really just are looking forward to watching next year. At Words to My Face on Twitter, wordstomyface@gmail.com. Of course, comments down below if you're watching us on YouTube. Words to My Face. Hit us up. But as always,
a few more days of draft, so you can. We still
you got plenty. I'll take anything. Yeah, I'll take any day of the draft. But as always, my name is Brian. With me, as always, producer extraordinaire Brendan.
Yo.
And we are signing out. Peace. And I look down weird at the camera, like I'm looking up and down really weird. This is weird for me. Weird for me.